And we're live. Awesome. So this is a later episode. I'm not expecting too many to hop on, but if you're here and you want this episode to go a little longer, I posted something in the live chat, but make sure you comment, ask questions, and if I don't get many, then I'll just end this episode short. But the Jazz won. Awesome win. They won. It was an 11-point game, 129-118. And I saw a lot of things that I haven't seen from the Jazz so far this season, this game. So this was an exciting one to watch. Obviously, a lot of offense on both ends. I thought offensively, both teams played great. I think the difference maker of why the Jazz won by double digits was the Jazz just got those stops when the Pelicans couldn't get stops. Obviously, it was tough for the Jazz to uh, stop them every time because the Pelicans were pretty hot, especially early. That fourth quarter was crazy. Pelicans scored over 40 points, but that's something that we haven't seen so far from this Jazz team where they're down by double digits in the first quarter. They come back, fight all game. It's close. Like they come back, make it close in the second quarter, take the lead before half. It's close through most of the third, and then towards the end of the third and the fourth quarter, they just take off and win the game. So that was awesome to see. Donovan Mitchell went off 30 plus points. He was crazy to see. He was hitting his threes. His passing today, he had some flashy passes. We've seen a couple of those from him this season, but I'm excited to see more, especially after this game. So I'll dive into the stats real quick, and then I'll give you some more of my thoughts about individual player performance and what this means both for the Jazz and for the Pelicans moving forward. But let's hop into the team stats. Like I said, offensively, both teams were awesome. The Jazz barely outshot the Pelicans as far as field goal percentage. The Jazz shot 50% to the Pelicans 49.4. So it's essentially the same. They were both at 50%, which was fun to see. Like this game would be a fun one to rewatch just because of all the offense and Zion Williamson being crazy, Donovan Mitchell being crazy. So that was a good game to watch. 3-point percentage, both teams right around 44%. Free throws, percentage-wise, the Pelicans were down, but they hit just one less free throw, so they took more, missed a few more. They took 5 more, so even if they made all of them, that wouldn't have been game changer. And one stat that I've been pointing out that even in Jazz wins, I'm always saying, hey, the Jazz need to stop turning the ball over. Like that's an issue. And this game, it was an issue. Donovan Mitchell had 4 turnovers. The team had 15. But the good news is the Pelicans had 18. So at least turnover differential, the Pelicans had more turnovers than the Jazz. I still want to see the Jazz bring turnovers down, but this is a step in the right direction. If the Jazz defense can force more turnovers than their offense commits, then at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how many turnovers you have as long as you have less than your opponent. So that was good to see. Obviously, need to fix it up on the offensive end, but like I said, the Jazz defense won this game, even though the Pelicans offense was hot. Let's hop into some player stats. One thing that I was noticing before I hopped on, while I was going over all these stats, is the Jazz starting lineup won the game. Got plus minus, which for those of you who don't know, plus minus is basically if you boil it down to the basics, it's like how many points did the team score while you were on the court, or like more than the other team or less than the other team, if you boil it down to the basics. So everyone on the Jazz offense was in plus double digits. The lowest plus minus on the offense was Royce O'Neal at plus 15. Everyone on the Jazz bench who played was in minus. And it's a pretty similar thing. Everyone on the Pelicans bench core, those starting 5, they killed it this game. They were the ones who fought back and won this game. So that was awesome. That was awesome to see. So Royce O'Neal, he only scored 5. The starting lineup had their double digits. And Bogdanovich, he had a poor shooting night. 4 for 11, 1 for 5 from 3. He still had 16 points because he got 7 free throws. The Jazz bench was kind of quiet. Ingles and Yang hit a couple threes apiece. Clarkson had his 19, which was awesome. He gave us what we were looking to see. So overall, awesome win for the Jazz. I love seeing the comeback. That's something that I feel like we've missed from the Jazz. Obviously, they've won tight games last season. We haven't seen much from it so far this season. Something quick about the Pelicans before I hop into the comments section and answer a lot of those. But so last episode, obviously same team, Jazz Pelicans. I was talking about Zion Williamson. He was awesome again today. I won't spend much time talking about him since I talked about him last episode. If you want to watch that, go to our channel and watch the last post-game review. But something that I noticed was defensively, this team just didn't look like they knew what they were doing, especially with Steven Adams on the floor. And I have been a big fan of Steven Adams. I thought he was an awesome center. He brought a lot to the Oklahoma City team. But watching him tonight, I didn't really notice him last game, but watching him tonight, it looked like he just couldn't stop anything. Anyone driving into the paint, he couldn't do much. And the Pelicans extended him before he even started playing. So I'm curious to see if they look to trade him. Probably not this season. It looks like they're 5-9. They're probably looking to be a lottery team. They're not looking to move a piece who doesn't fit right now. But I wouldn't be surprised if he gets traded in the near future. Yeah. So I'll hop into the comment section. Yeah, great win for the Jazz. Donovan was killing it. He had 36 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, a block. Again, though, Donovan does have the turnover issues. So if you turn the ball over 4 times and have 36 points and 7 rebounds, 5 assists, then I'll take it, right? Let's look over here. It's crazy. So know my flow. It's crazy how people like Shaq think Rudy's good, but you replace, for example, Gobert for Zubac, and there would be the Jazz would be nowhere as good. That's exactly what we were talking about a lot before the season started, and kind of in the beginning of the season when the Jazz were getting had a tough time getting going. They lost some games that they shouldn't have. But Rudy Gobert, you look at his box score, and it's just not impressive most games. He's a good center box score wise, but he's not if you just look at the box score, he's not worth the contract, right? Tonight was a pretty what you expect out of Rudy Gobert: 12 points, 11 rebounds, 4 blocks. And box score wise, that's not impressive, but it's those intangibles, just teams not being able to go into the paint because they know Rudy Gobert is there. That kind of stuff. We talk a lot about screen assists. So I agree, Shaq, and he's just kind of been hating on every player. He hated on James Harden recently, Dwight Howard, Rudy Gobert. So I don't know what's up with that. But I agree, with how Rudy's been playing, because this is kind of a box score league, I don't think he'll make the All-Star, as it will be as a reserve, because coaches kind of choose the reserves. And I'm sure Rudy is I feel like he has more coach appeal than fan appeal, right? Because he's not a flashy player. He gets cool dunks, but he doesn't get enough of them a game to make fans want to see him in the All-Star game. But coaches really respect Rudy Gobert. They you can see teams play differently against the Jazz than they do against other teams because they know they have a legitimate defender in the paint. So that's awesome. And I loved Rudy's response. I know this was a while ago. I'm spending some time on this when Shaq was saying that he didn't deserve the contract, but Rudy's response was positive. He didn't hit back, and if people want to think that, they can, but the Jazz are looking really good right now with Rudy Gobert. If you take him away, they're not the same team. So Nate, you said the Pelicans' whole game whole goal of this game was to stop Rudy and to stop the three. The Jazz did good enough on both sides to push back and win and at it and win. I agree. This is a game. A lot of times with sports, this is me personally. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like watching games if I already know the outcome. I feel like a lot of the fun is out of it. So I do it still because it's good to study the game, especially basketball. I like it enough that like the emotion is gone, but you can still learn the game a lot better. So if you want to learn basketball better, that's good. But this game was one of the ones that you can go back and watch just for fun because of the offense. The Pelicans killed it. They were awesome. But this just shows how resilient the Jazz are, how talented the Jazz are. And I feel like a lot of this is on Mitchell. Just him being aggressive. I'm telling you, when Mitchell has good games, it makes a huge difference just because of how he plays in the rest of the team. Even though Bojan, he didn't shoot well, 1 for 5 from 3. Conley did good. He was 8 for 14 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3. But I'm telling you, like when Mitchell goes off, it's game over for most teams. Like, yeah, it's going to be tough to beat the Jazz. You're an elite team when Mitchell has 30-point games like this. Let's see. more Shaq hate in the comments. Yeah, I don't know what Shaq's doing. Awesome player, but I don't know if he's just like trying to get in the headlines or if he's missing having all the attention. Jonathan Wickham, Conley is the man. Clarkson too. I agree. Conley, yeah, I think he's kind of he's had some really good games. I feel like he's going to be an unsung hero of this Jazz team, especially if they perform how we think they can perform, especially when it comes to playoffs times, because he's stepping in. Bojan's not been having the best games. He's taking that second scoring role, and he's taking it awesome. He scored 20 points tonight. As far as plus minus, he was tied for the best player with Bojan at plus 23. So it's awesome to see that from those guys. Starting lineup, awesome, super resilient. I'm just going to keep saying those words over and over again because I was really excited about this game. This win, it kept the winning streak going. The Jazz are 11-4, and I was thinking back at the beginning of the season, I made a prediction for the like how the Jazz would do top 10, and I was optimistic. I thought they would start off hot, so I said 8-2. Looking at the record now with 11-4, if they keep this winning streak going, it's going to be like, it makes my prediction look less silly, even though they didn't really get close to 8-2 in their first 10 games. But maybe that's my own pride saying that just to make my prediction not sound as ridiculous as the outcome. So Kenny, he said, just because your team is good enough that you don't need to carry doesn't mean you're not a superstar. Playoff Mitchell is a superstar, in my opinion. I agree. I feel like Mitchell, I want to see him take a bigger step, because like seeing Mitchell in big time games when he's performing and he has the energy, I think that's scary. I think he's as good as almost anyone else in the league when he's at that point. It's just his turnovers, sometimes he's inconsistent, and obviously even LeBron James during some of his best seasons had bad games, and so Mitchell's going to have bad games, but I want to see a little more consistency. I want to see more scoring, less turnovers, and maybe even some more assists. He's been passing the ball great, just his assist numbers haven't been like great. They've been fine. But like Mitchell, he's developing into a real legitimate superstar who can lead a team to a championship. As he still needs a few more years to develop, in my opinion, before he's at that point, like best player on a championship team. But he definitely has everything there, and just as he refines everything, like I'm excited for this Jazz team. They have Gobert and Mitchell locked up, and they have some nice pieces locked up around them for the next few years. And I'm confident that as this team develops together, even as like Conley might get older, he might leave. As these pieces start maybe leaving, I'm confident in the Jazz organization that they'll be able to keep surrounding Gobert and Mitchell with really solid players. So this team's going to be really good for a long time unless some crazy injury or something weird happens. Let's see. Joe is looking way better after resting these last few games on both ends. Yeah, that's something. I didn't put much weight onto Joe Ingles resting. Nate, he was always saying that Joe, like, just kind of taking that pressure off, allowing him to take a few games off, lower minutes was going to help him, and it has. He had some. He had 8 points tonight, but some of his shots were kind of tough shots, clutch shots. So, he's still not athletic. He's that's not his thing, but like with his shooting and with everything else going on with the Jazz, we were talking a while ago about how the Jazz really needed that athletic wing, and that could still be useful, but with how they're shooting, how they're playing defense, how everything else is going, it's not as big of a need right now. And hopefully this continues throughout the season, and it's not just because their schedule is a little easier right now. Hopefully when they start playing the tough teams, we keep seeing this level of play from the Jazz. Man, they've won 7 in a row. Yeah. Come talk to me when it's 14, right? But no, it's 7 in a row. That's awesome. Yeah. Nate pointed out that I've been saying I agree to almost every comment. He wants to slip in and say that Mitchell's better than Luka, and yeah, we'll see. The Jazz are better than the Mavericks this year, and Mitchell's the best player on the Jazz. So, what does that say about Luka? No, but I don't know. It really is tough to compare players. Obviously, Luka is. It's tough to argue that Mitchell's better than him, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how their careers play out. Obviously, Luka is the favorite in the NBA right now. He's the up and comer. Everyone thinks he's going to win the next 15 MVPs and the next 8 championships. But and he stuffs the stat sheet. Obviously, he's amazing. But I don't know. We'll see. Donovan Mitchell's looked really good tonight. Not quite the stat sheet stuffer. So I don't think he'll ever get that same reputation that Luka does just because of his style of play, which is fine. Sawyer Parker says, "What about BYU?" That's not really our channel's MO, but I did see an ESPN notification when I was checking in on some other games that BYU blew out some team in basketball. I forget what it was, but so if you're a BYU fan, you can celebrate that as well, as long with the Jazz victory. But I haven't been following college basketball. I'm too into the NBA right now. But I think that's good. I've been saying I agree to everything, just like Nate pointed out. I've been super excited about this game. I said the Jazz were resilient probably 15 times, but I thought this was a good victory. Obviously, the Pelicans aren't the best team out there, but showing that the Jazz can, they slip up in the first, even though they had 31 points. 31 points. They gave up 43 in the first, but they can fight back. It's always tougher fighting back from a game like this. So the Jazz proved to us here that they have what it takes, and they have that mental toughness to stay in the game, even though sometimes it feels like you're out of it. But I'll leave it at that. I think it's awesome. Don't forget to like the video if you haven't. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I'm guessing people who are pretty common on our live streams are mostly subscribed. So tell your friends about the channel if they're Jazz fans too. We're trying to build up a better community here. Trying to get more Jazz basketball on YouTube, and we're excited. We've been growing fast. We're up to last I checked 275. Which is growing faster than I thought we would. So thank you guys for all the support. Thanks for being here. If you want to keep talking, it's late, so I won't stay on too much longer, but stay on in the comment section and we can talk there. But other than that, go Jazz, awesome win. Thanks for joining us, guys. Good night.